Alright. What the hell is going on, everybody? We've got Team Liquid's Clem in the bottom right side of the map, facing off against Team Basilisk, REYNOR in the top left. I don't know, I was about to call him Team Liquid REYNOR. I was like, no. It's like, what are we talking about here? It is the best of 5 grand finals, the ESL Weekly EU number 219. Last week, REYNOR 3-0'd Clem. Week before that, there was like a few 3-1s in return in Clem's favor. So is it going to be a return to Clem being in control of the matchup, or will it be a little bit more closer and back and forth? I know sometimes, as I say that, I know some people are going to be annoyed on my YouTube saying, don't spoil previous matches. For me, that's part of the history of what's gone on in between the players. And I try not to do it every time, because I know a lot of people do watch things out of order on YouTube after the fact. But I do every now and then like to touch in. I try to make, I've definitely lowered the amount I do it just for those people, you know? But I'll try to be more vague and say, oh, you know, REYNOR's won the last one, but before that, Clem was winning a few series. But I figure even that kind of spoils it to a certain extent. I think if people are just watching through the YouTube algorithm anyway, they're probably not watching in order, so I probably don't need to be as worried about that. Anyways, let's not dilly-dally and talk about that for too long. Let's talk about the actual strategies. 2 Racks Reaper on the low ground, a strategy which it can work out really well. Sometimes it kind of feels overrated. It also feels very vulnerable to certain all-ins because you don't even have a ramp on this wall off. And yeah, I mean, the depot is a weak point. Now, that being said, it's only one depot on this wall off. Whereas some maps, it's a wider choke. You have a depot on both sides. That's when I think you really are extra vulnerable against those all-in attacks. But it is a hatch gas pool for REYNOR. A very standard opening. He didn't feel like doing the 15-15 this time. Oh, good return. He manually returns that drone to mining. Nicely done. Reaper's coming across the map, and a second and third Reaper on the way. We should be seeing that command center go down. Oh, he's a little slow. A little slow on getting the SCV down there. Slight inefficiency in Clem's opening. Now, REYNOR's had a long break. He won his semi-final a while ago. His side of the bracket played out a bit quicker, whereas Clem had to wait for some TVTs to finish and then win a TVT of his own. That his series was quick, but the previous one between Hero Marine and Spirit definitely dragged on for a little bit. Oh. Good focus fight. Clem's so good with his Reapers, man. He's so good with his Reapers. 15-15 is definitely easier to defend the first ones, but luckily no drone goes down. The queens are out, and he spreads the creep tumor. Beautiful. So if you go creep tumor in the main, and you get quick ling speed, I mean, you should be completely safe. You can bring both queens on the natural, use your lings to defend the high ground, and he's gone for 10 lings as well, so exceptionally safe play for REYNOR. Some would argue this is an overcommitment to the defense. The reason I don't think it is simply because he's playing Clem, and Clem's micro is disgusting. Oh my god. Clem, you silly boy. I mean, we all know how silly aggressive Clem is, to the point of irresponsibility, as we saw there. And that queen is obviously going to cower in the back, while REYNOR just leaves these 2 queens up front to defend. At the end of the day, I think that's a decent hold, but it's 330 almost, and he hasn't saturated this base. So you can see how expensive it is to make ling speed 4 queens, skip and inject for a creep tumor, and build 10 zerglings. It's not a cheap defense. And even at 3, he's not going to saturate this natural until about 4 minutes, which is very late. Remember, with the 15-15, this is fully mining at about 3:15. So that's a 45-second delay compared to it. However, you've already got your creep spreading, whereas with a 15-15, you might not have ling speed and zerglings out yet, and those Reapers would still be a bit more of a presence on your front door. Oh, Hellions are out. Going for the Reapers, though. I think it's worth it if he kills the Reapers. Oh, REYNOR, he doesn't quite manage to target that Reaper. He does, he gets in! Oh my god! Oh me, oh my. Good SCV micro for Clem, though. Oh my lord, Clem's SCV micro is insane. Oh, but look, that Ling's gonna one-tap. No, it's not. That was crazy, the speed at which he was pulling back the SCVs. Remember, if REYNOR's attack moving, which you normally want to do in those fights, whenever an SCV is not attacking, it's a lower threat priority. So by clicking the SCV, pulling it back, clicking the SCV, pulling it back, clicking the SCV, pulling it back over and over again, that actually made it so that they didn't get hurt. You know, they would stop getting attacked. Even if they stopped attacking for just a second themselves, the Zerglings would change targets. Now, REYNOR obviously is massively ahead after that. 12 Zergs for 2 Aliens, 3 Reapers, 2 Marines, 2 SCVs. He is miles ahead on Oceanborn, and this is really bad for Clem because remember, this is Clem's map pick, just like last week. Last week, he lost this map to a Ravager Ling all-in. This time, he's already behind. And it feels like REYNOR is just, you know, he's picking the right builds. He's really well prepared. He says, oh, I'm ahead. I can get away with double upgrades. This is the greediest opening, is double upgrades before Lair, before Baneling Nest, all that sort of stuff. This is one of the best ways to open if you think you can get away with it. And of course, already having a bit of lead, that's going to be a way for REYNOR to push his advantage even further. One of the greatest things you see with top tier StarCraft players is they don't just do the same build. If they get an advantage, they add a little bit of greed, a bit of special sauce on top of whatever they had planned. Spore Crawler does build. No Spore in the main. Man, talk about... Okay, I was going to say, talk about efficient, but also bare bones defense. Only building one Spore and having one Queen in the main is super dangerous, but he does fix that. Lings are getting ready for a bit of a counterattack, perhaps. He's going to need those in the north to help defend that fourth base. Luckily, the fourth base is far along, so it has a lot of hit points. It's only about 11, 12 Marines with Stim, but I don't know what REYNOR's Lings are doing down here. He doesn't have enough at home to defend. He's going to lose his fourth. Unfortunate. I mean, REYNOR's counterattack will do damage, but I don't think it's going to be as much as losing this fast fourth base. This fast fourth base is such an advantage if he can get it up. And you know what? Maybe he can defend it. Lings go in. They surround the Hellion, but the Stim Marines are good. SCV hold position to deprioritize them. That's exactly the micro I was talking about. The SCVs, because the Marine count's so low, do have to turn and fight, though. And it looks like at the end of the day, 8 SCVs go down, and REYNOR defends his base. I think he's happy with this. Liberator in the main does finally fall. Doesn't really get many kills. Only no drones have died this game. Just 47 Zerglings. Units lost have 700 resources in favor of REYNOR. REYNOR is miles ahead in this game. His 1-1's about to finish. It's not there just yet. No transfuses on those Queens. But when it's only 6-7 Marines, suddenly it's you know, it's not quite as bad. It's just Stim and Shields. 1-1, not quite finished. 3 barracks, factory, tanks, and 4th and 5th barracks now on the way as well. Interesting that he's building tanks. Armory goes down. Are we going to see 8 racks play, or is this just a more defensive Clem? Clem's been playing so much Widowmines lately. Maybe he's decided, you know what, everyone's playing Hydras versus me. Let's actually go back towards tank play to give me some range advantage against the Hydras and the Banes. Chat was asking... Oh, Banelings go down. One of them barely survives. Great focus fire. Chat was asking... no, REYNOR played a 16 hatch, 18 gas, 17 pool. He did not do a 15-15 this game. I was talking about 15-15, but he didn't do it. That's why he had such a quick Ling speed up. And it's also why his droning was very late on his natural. But because his speedlings shut down everything and got the Hellion surrounds and even got inside the base to kill some SCVs and Marines, that's why REYNOR's in such a good spot right now in this game. Oh, that Reddit point medevac is very vulnerable. Oh, good surround. The surround for REYNOR was really nicely done. That's actually a slick move. Yeah, Clem went a bit too close to the sun, gets punished for it. Marines in the north also getting deflected. He's now got Burrow 2-2. Look at the creep spread. So this is the thing as well. When you're able to just bully them away from your creep, it means your creep can spread at an unparalleled rate. Now, Clem's doing something to at least slow down the creep on the north, so he's got some kind of attack angles he can set up there. Maybe put some siege tanks up in this area and kind of branch across on the north. REYNOR's got so much creep control in the center. He's feeling great. Marines, only one of them goes down for a few Zerglings. Those little trades are always good for Terran, but they are small compared to the overall amount of money both sides are mining. And REYNOR going Hive, 9 more workers. He's going to take a Hydra Den now as well. He's getting ready for that Lurker swap. When you're ahead like this, if you can start burrowing Lurkers all over the place once Hive is up, you know Clem's going to struggle. He's only now floating his 4th base out. He has gone for 8 barracks, all off of 2 factories. He does have Widow Mines now starting up. Oh! 6-7 Banelings all burrowed on the corner. That had to be a mistake for REYNOR. There's no way he meant to burrow that many Banelings. There's no reason to burrow more than 2 together, usually. Oh! First Widow Mine's a good hit. Clem gonna use that multitasking to get some hits. These Marines dodge the burrowed Banelings on the... Oh my god. I don't know if that was on purpose or not. It looked like it was. It looked like he was like, yeah, if there's going to be burrowed Banelings, they'll be there. So I'm going to take an awkward path across the map so I don't walk over the most traversed part where you'd put the Banelings. Top right, Marine Widowmine getting jumped on by the Ling Bane, but some nice hot pickups. That being said, the Widowmine gets cleaned up before it can fire. He moves across the gap. That's a super dangerous move for Clem, and it's getting punished. Oh, he loses a full medevac and another medevac. My gosh. I mean, he's almost maxed is Clem. But REYNOR's got 92 workers on 5 base now. REYNOR's creep is starting to push forward onto that Terran side of the map. I think Clem's just doing such a good job of keeping him busy, though. And look at this. The way Clem's moving around that bush. There's a good opportunity. Ooh, good burrowed Baneling takes out about 9 Marines there. Very good pair of Banelings. Morling Bane, Hydra rolling forward. Hydras and Banes take out the Widow Mines. Oh, that Widow Mine on the right gets a good shot. Clearing the tanks would be nice, but he's just barely got the numbers. At the same time, a huge run by came in. Looks like 14 SCVs went down as they pulled away from the third. Clem does defend, but he loses all of his tanks on the front. He loses 14 workers, and he's got to use a scan or a turret to clear up these burrowed lings. Where are his extra command centers? His fifth one's just building. Meanwhile, REYNOR should be reestablishing that creep and getting back in control of this game. Creep in the north, going. Creep down there, not really spreading. The stuff in the middle is going well. Should be trying to respread creep in the south as well if he can. The problem in these games, it's really hard to have two different control groups for your queens. So respreading creep in the far north and south at the same time is mechanically incredibly demanding. Queens shut down the Liberator from crossing over. I always like to get 2 or 3 spores on this edge, just so drops and stuff can't get past. Left side, it's a little bit harder. You kind of just have to put a spore there and these spores here, which he's doing. All right, loses 1 Hydra, worth it for a Lib. Liberator is 150 minerals and 125 gas. A Hydra is just 100 minerals and 50 gas. 3 supply for the Liberator, 2 supply for the Hydra. Overseer does get picked off. There are Widow Mines out here. That creep Shlong protruding onto Clem's high ground has got to worry him. As a Terran, that feels really bad, man. He scans on the right side so he can get his 5th base down. It's just a planetary, though. He's trying to make more command centers because he realizes, you know, Lurkers could be a huge problem for him. We've got a Nidus Worm on the way. So REYNOR's going to use Nidus, Lurker to pressure the main base while attacking the front from 2 sides, most likely. Or at least 1 side. We'll see how he does it. Clearing up the Widow Mine field. That's a really good move. But where's his Overseer, man? He's trying to come in from 2 sides right now. Oh, I like the Burrowed Banes. It's almost like he's trying to lure him in. Where are these Overseers? He's morphing 2 of them. So he's going to bring more to the front. He realizes, I'm a little light on those. Oh, he's trying to surround this army. He's trying to surround this army. That Widow Mine does get a decent hit on the Zerglings. The Zerglings are getting smeared, but there's so much Lingbane Hydra Lurker behind it. Clem has to pick up and get out of there. Clearing the Widow Mine field is amazing for REYNOR. That command center up front needs to get cancelled. He's trying to unload here is Clem. That command center super vulnerable. He's actually going to try and just jump on top. He scans, but the Marines are not good against the Lurkers. The command center works against him. He finally cancels it. Probably should have done that one a little bit earlier. Nidus Worm in the back gets cleaned up. But every time he does that, that's so many units chasing a 0 supply structure. The Nidus Worm might not even have anything inside it, guys. And indeed, I don't think it does. Where is that Nidus Worm? Oh my god. Sorry, guys. I apologize. Tried to click on it. There we go. Yeah, there's nothing inside. Massling Bane Hydra on this side. So the Nidus has to be respected. Clem has lost so many games to it. Oh my god, the Burrowed Banelings. Oh! 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 Oh my god, REYNOR's trying to bait him so hard. Oh, he wants to bait him so hard. You know what? He's not got the pick off just yet. Seismic Spines, that's plus run. Oh, there we go. Big Burrowed Banelings. And this is what REYNOR does when he's in control. Banelings into that mineral line as well. Hydras could take out this base, and I think he'll be able to just barely. 2-2-3 Hydra Ling Bane coming on in there. And he takes out that 4th base. Nidus Web in the back gets taken out, but he pops a new one in the main. And remember that 0 supply leverage of the Nidus Worm, even though I think he now does have a few Lurkers inside it. Such a great way. When you're maxed out as a Zerg, it's always your biggest problem. But being able to use 0 supply to pressure your opponent is great. It's the same reason sometimes morphing a bunch of Dropper Lords with nothing inside and just letting your opponent see them coming so they have to move to respond while you attack elsewhere. Actually an amazing move. It's part of why the Warp Prism is considered a very frustrating unit by a lot of players playing against it, because it's only a 2 supply unit, but you never know when they're going to warp 20 Zealots in off it. Obviously that's if they have 20 gateways. Hydraling Bane coming forward, more Burrowed Banelings on the north. REYNOR's in control of this game, and he's not giving up control. Clem's kind of been on a slippery slope. He's behind in the early game, and he is falling further behind. And I love to see this back and forth between these 2 players. I really feel they play some of the best Zerg vs Terrans in the world. Baneling plus Widow Mine Splash combining to get rid of those repairing SCVs. A few more Banelings are going to roll in. Tried to come down, but he just doesn't have enough units to defend, and REYNOR crushes game 1. He even had Burrowed Infestors, Nidus Worm, 6th and 7th bases. REYNOR actually pulling out all the stops and showing really confident macro play. All right, now going on to Equilibrium, the Zerg map. It's a tough one for Clem in the top left side. REYNOR in the top right. Now keep in mind, this map, Clem looks amazing in the late game. Last week in their match, I feel like he'd actually weathered the storm, but he just needed to be very turtly and defensive for another minute or 2. He ran across the map, got his whole army fungled to death when he didn't need to, when he was in a very fragile position, and then died to the counterattack. Or he could have just sat at home. He was in a great position. So Clem needs to just chill out in the late game on this map. REYNOR is very good at setting up both Infester and Baneling traps at the moment. So you got to respect that. Now, what went wrong in the last game was very simple. He stayed on the map with the Reapers too long. He thought his Hellions could save his bacon. Ends up losing his Reapers, his Hellions, his Marines, and SCVs. He ruined his opening. He got absolutely diddled by that opening and was simply way behind from them. And there was still moments where it looked like he was putting on enough pressure where he could start to kind of get in underneath REYNOR's skin a little bit, disrupt him, you know, throw off his internal rhythm a little bit. And we see even REYNOR, Serral, this happens against Clem. Clem has made disgusting comebacks against these guys in the past. Now, the SCV is looking to block. REYNOR's going to hide that drone. SCV is just there. So this looks like a clash opening. Like, he wants to build that third base, probably on 30 supply, I would imagine. Overlord's a little late for a 30 supply one, actually. He's on 350 minerals, 400 minerals. REYNOR's Overlord is super late, guys. He forgot his Overlord. Unless he's going to go gold base, which I think he is because the SCV is blocking. Reaper gets itself a Zergling. Queens are out. Third queen starts in that main. That allows this queen to immediately come down to the front and help protect the creep shimmer. So you know, queens, lings, and queens. Oh, he put it too close to the front though. That first tumor snipe really hurts. Now, Clem sees the gold base with the SCV. He goes home and he says, are you sure about that? I'm not going to let you mine that, man. Already builds a Cyclone along with a third command center. So third command center into Cyclone. That does slow down the starport a little bit, but of course the Cyclones are great, especially if they can catch some like Overlords, like this one outside the base, any one of these ones if they don't get back to the pillars in time. And Roachhorn's going down for REYNOR, but Roachhorn without Ling Speed is very weak to this. Now, don't get me wrong, we've seen games where the Roach Ravager surprises them and just kills a bunch of stuff, but Overlord speed? Not a fan of REYNOR's build order right now, guys. Not a fan. I think he can do it, but he's not going to have a lot of transfuse. So here's the problems that I see. Let me explain. Okay, so he sees the Cyclones now, but without Ling Speed, it's so awkward dealing with Cyclones because you just can't surround them. You kind of just have to defend with Queens and Ravagers and try to get enough units up. Now, he can't use his gold base because that's super exposed. He's trying to run his Overlords, which is, of course, a very good move. This one on the south hopefully goes down to the edge of the map to hide. That one's hidden on the pillar, which is good. But he's got 6 Roaches. He's going to have to make a few of those into Ravagers so that they have the range to really deal with the Cyclones a little bit. This just makes his opening uncomfortable. Meanwhile, second barracks on the way, Stim, second gas. I wouldn't be surprised to see extra, you know, a third barracks, double engineering bay, and then a starport. And just have enough material to not die from any sort of like Ravager Ling push or something. Because Clem doesn't know that there's no Ling speed. That's always a threat in these sort of scenarios. So I think playing very safe with lots of Marines will be the best way to play. Cyclone's annoying up the top. Hellion Reaper runs south, but there was a Ravager there. Ravagers coming from both sides. That Ravager in the north is going to get taken down though. Great pick off. This is the problem. Ravagers are 100 minerals and 100 gas. You don't want to lose them. Oh, 1 hit point. 1 hit point. Get it out of there, bro. But you see, Roaches are useless versus Cyclones off creep. This is why Ling speed is so important. Taking the gold base, dangerous. Not having Ling speed, even more dangerous. These Cyclones are getting what I would refer to as value, ladies and gentlemen. Nice transfuse on the Ravager. The Queen does get picked off. Another Roach gets picked off. Clem's micro with these Cyclones is disgusting. That Ravager's getting very low as well. Another Ravager goes down. This is not a big commitment. You're looking at this, you're like, but at least he defends and has a gold base. Yes, he has a gold base and he's got mining on it, but this is so expensive for REYNOR. And Clem, look at that, guys. Medivacs, double engineering bay, third barracks, up to 4 gases. He is all over. The fact that he is still here with his Cyclones is him being a little bit cocky, in my opinion. Does finally pull back with those units. But he's going to have a double drop of Marines to follow it up. And REYNOR is down on workers. Yes, that's +3 workers. Yes, this is +3 workers as well. So you can imagine he's on 54 against 52, maybe 55 against 52. Still not a great position to be against the Terran, because Terran have mules and they will be able to get ahead in the long run. Double drop. Oh, those Marines. Wow. Clem really fumbling that drop. That was hilarious. He kind of wasted his whole boost there. Bit of Roach Ravager pressure coming across the map. If they could, I mean, actually, there's nothing to defend right now. This could go really well for REYNOR. If REYNOR can get enough Roaches at home to defend, which, by the way, he has none right now, and kill a bunch of these SCVs, that could be huge. Clem, of course, is just going to continue towards the main and just run his SCVs away, which is the right way to do it. He's just going to pull back. That double drop, there's no Roaches building. There's 7 queens, but there's no creep connecting the main base. He's going to run his drones right now. Oh, man. This is going to be big damage. Yes, the Roach Ravager's cracking in on the other side at the same time, but he's pulling back to the main. Clem is doing a very good job of handling this. And REYNOR is caught with his pants down around his ankles. The Ravager's doing really well, though. They are doing a lot of damage. They're getting out of control, but the Marines, I think, are even more out of control now that they're in the drone line. Oh, Stim Marines just have such firepower. But he does get forced to pick up and leave. The Roaches and Ravagers also going down on this side, though. Oh, this is so rough. This feels really good for Clem. Yes, Clem loses 18 workers, but he's got Stim, he's got shields, his 1-1's almost finished. Evos haven't even started. Roach speeds just started. Actually, he does have Evos, never mind. He does have Evos, he just hasn't started upgrades on them, where his upgrades are almost done. There are 4 hatcheries for REYNOR, and he's still got the gold base with the purple gas mining. That is where hope comes from. He's got 1-1 upgrades on the way, Roach speed started, but for me, I look at these numbers and I realize like Clem's up on 5 barracks. Clem has Stim and Shields and 1-1 finished with an armory started, a second factory started. He's going to build a tech lab on that factory at home so he can get into the tank production account of the Roaches. He's in a great spot. Now, this is a bad drop for Clem. Does lose 2 Marines. Nice catch for REYNOR. Dropping in the main, just a little bit too risky there. REYNOR can get back in this game, but he's playing from behind. And I do think if he doesn't have a smooth opening, it's going to be very hard to play against Clem from behind. Being said, he buys himself a bit more time on this map, which is good. Hey, the Ravager gets away. That's nice. Marines focus down a Roach. Trading a Marine for a Roach always worth it. 75 minerals and 25 gas. That's the cost of a Roach, so 100 total. A Marine is just 50 minerals. So it's, one would argue, better than 2-to-1 trade, since many people rate gas as higher than minerals. It's a bit more limited. And good pullback on the Ravager, not allowing that to get focused down. Second factory is up. That's double tank production. 4th command center. 2-2 has now started here for Clem. But I love the burrowed infestors. When you're behind on Roach Ravager, getting some infestor ambushes out, one of the best ways to keep yourself alive while you try to tech up into Lurker Viper. I actually think a better transition when you're behind in this scenario is if you drop a Spire and you try to go Broodlords. A lot of people would say, well, Lurkers is the more natural transition. It's the more obvious transition as well. And against a guy who's massing tanks and will add ghosts in the near future, he's going to be ready for it. Whereas a Broodlord swap is very surprising and it hard counters siege tanks, something which, since you're so Roach focused, you know your opponent's going to be tank heavy. Oh, he's got some infestors. Oh, great first fungal. 2 fungals no longer kill Marines though. Does take a 3rd one and a 4th one. And you can just see his Roach count so low. The tank volleys are so good. Even though he does clear most of this army, I don't know if he gets rid of the siege tanks. Yeah, nah, good enough for Clem. Even though 1 tank goes down, he loses his entire army, and REYNOR, he took advantage of the good fungals, but he just didn't quite have enough Roach Ravager there on the front. That's the problem. He's trying to tech hive, think about the next step. He's thinking about going for 2-2, but just defending that push was in of itself so hard. And Clem's taken a 4th behind it. He's got 3 more barracks with tech labs, so Clem's up on 8 barracks production. And this is simply Clem leveraging that early lead with this push, and REYNOR struggling to hang on and survive. Roaches aren't a high damage unit, which is why you need overwhelming numbers. You often want to spread them out and come in from multiple sides as well, so they don't get stuck behind each other. Oh, I do like the triple bile on the tank on the high ground. Nice micro there. Oh, good tank shot. Infestors are pretty close to getting themselves a new fungal. He's going to run forward and try to bile that tank. It does end up just killing. Was that a widow mine? What was that? Maybe it was a critter. Does bile the siege tank. Good move. Great fungal. Oh my gosh. 0 respect for the fungals for Clem. Gets his Marine count punished. That being said, there's only 1 fungal left now. Another triple bile. Ooh, he does get it. 2 Ravages for a tank. I think that's an okay trade for REYNOR because these tanks are so important to get rid of. But he needs something to break the position. Throwing the Marines away for Clem severely weakened this position. Despite that, as long as he doesn't get broken, Clem has the game in the bag. This angle, denying the gold base, it's not just denying the gold, it's also getting good trades, and looks like REYNOR maybe should have given this angle up a little while ago. Getting that infester was huge, because now there's no fungals available. The Roach is trying to intercept the rally, but it's such a small number of Roaches intercepting the rally that they actually lose that fight. Like if he could have swung 15, 16 Roaches around, jumped on top of that, that would have been awesome, but As it is, he's in big trouble. Siege tanks do get broken finally. But what's he got left behind it? The 3 infestors are not going to have fungal for another 30 seconds. And Clem, he's putting a 5th command center. 3 3s on the way. +2 carapace is not quite finished for REYNOR. REYNOR's going +1 melee and Baneliness. Banelings will not get you out of this position. There is no way that Banelings are going to solve this. I understand it's like kind of the natural next step to deal with ghosts, but it's not what he needs right now. I'm not sure what he does need. I don't have answers either. I'm not saying I know better than REYNOR. I'm like, ugh. I just know that Banelings are not it. That's setting up for like 3, 4, 5 minutes in the future. Right now, he's just in survival mode. Does get a tank there. Good catch. Losing a few roaches. Units lost up 3,500 resources in favor of Clem. Oh my god, the way the roach corpse was getting pushed by that siege tank was hilarious. Double drop up north. There are a few spores, but if they go around the very top, they could get by. In fact, they're just going to come in from this angle. 20 roaches, 8 ravages. He's going to try and play Ultra Ling as his next step. It's pretty accessible tech. And the thing is, yeah, I mean, like I said, Broodlords would have been amazing. I don't think he would have made it to Broodlords. There's no way before like that tank push got out of control anyway. At this point, there's not as much tank focus. You can see Vikings and Ghosts being built, so I think Clem is like, yeah, he's probably going to build Vipers, so Viking Ghost is good. And if he goes Broodlords, they also preempt that. Nice. Good fungal. Great fungal bile spread. Damages one of the medevacs, but as you can see, hard to actually kill the units before they get back inside. So 6 Marines do still survive along with those 2 medevacs. Back in the day, in an early Legacy, some of you might remember, fungal held units completely in place. So you could just use Infestor Ravager as anti-air. You just fungal medevacs, drop biles, and it would die with no chance for the Terran to dodge. It was a good time. Nurtio was a very happy Zerg during those ages. Terran had tank evacs and OP Reapers, but, you know, Zerg had some of their own magic to help him out. Okie dokie. Oh, he's a bit too close to the Infestor. Yeah, he's a bit too close there. A little bit too close. I know he didn't want to be out of range, but REYNOR unfortunately doesn't get the fungal off. Extra command center is going down. You know what? This does give REYNOR time. So if REYNOR spreads creep, he's got 85 workers. He's got a bit of mineral bank. He doesn't have much gas, but that's okay. And he's actually just going to jump on top. Unburrow fungal. He does lose another infestor. But cleaning up all that bio, it's a very good trade for him. Oh, good biles too. Luckily, Clem is watching, and he does redirect those medevacs. 5 more ghosts are building, cloak coming in, +2 vehicle weapons, extra starport, 2 more command centers. Now that extra starport should obviously be on a tech lab for a Raven in this sort of game. I was talking to Clem about this the other day, and he was like, it's hard to do that. And I was like, dude, if you've got extra starports anyway, there's no reason not to have an extra tech lab. And he was disagreeing, but I bet he will begrudgingly start doing it. As we know, those infestors are basically the one thing doing it for Zerg right now. They are such a big part of Serral and REYNOR's game. Roaches running in. They ain't going to find much. Roaches aren't a very good unit anymore. The fact that he kills a ghost is probably better than what most would expect. Hey, he gets a siege tank as well. Not too bad. He even gets 2 Marines with the Widowmine friendly fire. That was cool. That Roach ran up to the Marines and let the Widowmine kill them. He's going reactor, so he's focusing on libs. He does start a 3rd starport, though. You definitely don't need 3 starport lib. It can be nice to build 6 libs or Vikings at a time. But I would always argue build a tech lab there. What's the difference between 5 and 6 units producing versus having that ability to build the Raven? Now, I remember Clem said, he said, oh, I kind of just believe in the random turrets everywhere. And I was like, on a big map, like Equilibrium or Radhu set, that makes no sense. And he was like, he did the pro gamer thing. I'm Clem, I'm really nice. I'm not going to tell you you're an idiot, Pig, but that's just, no, it's too hard to do. Now, to be fair, he did say the Raven's very immobile. So you can't really have it everywhere at once. But I definitely think, you know, having it mixed in is very nice. It just sometimes catches you off guard with your micro, that's all. Oh, yeah. REYNOR's Infestor gets caught. Okay, so what does REYNOR do against this army? I mean, it's got to be Massling Bane. He's only got 8 Banelings. He needs to get rid of his 2 roaches. He needs to get rid of probably some of the ravages as well. I think 8 ravages taking up 24 supply really weakens his army. He's got to try and use that mobility. Clem's turtling pretty nicely. This is not a good fight. 3 ultras get blasted. That's kind of the problem that Reyn is having right now. He does replace those ultras with Ling Bane, but I think, like I said, the roaches are worthless. He's got to get rid of the roaches. 4 supply wasted. The ravages, if you throw away 2 or 3 of those, it feels awkward. But look at your bank as REYNOR. And the thing is, remember, you have urgency. You need to use that bank sooner rather than later. You're not going to be able to mine his bases on this map unless you really start crashing over and getting some amazing engagements. Now, Clem should probably be scanning. Yeah. At this stage of the game, you've got... He's only got 5 orbitals. He doesn't have that many orbitals. You do have them for a reason. Now, Corruptors need to start coming in to deal with the libs. Doesn't have Corruptors, it's going to be very hard to deal with this. Widowmine, very nice Widowmine. Gets a few Zerglings. And he's going to try to run in here. But there's tanks, mines, and bio up north. Hard to get on top of all of it. Lings do get in the mineral line. The Ultra's bugging out a little bit there. Struggling to get past that missile turret. Oh man, those Ultras died pretty fast. Marauders, good units. Maybe a snipe landed as well as a few tank shots as well. Mauling Ultras running in. He's got to try and catch the army as it reinforces. He's able to scare the army away, but he's not really able to get on top his REYNOR. He's got to disengage, losing more Ultras and Banes. He does try to Corrosive Bile, doesn't find that much with it. He's trying to still engage out here in the open. The Banelings are getting on top of those ghosts. A few of the ghosts are dying, but these are costly trades. That being said, 15 workers go down. Doesn't quite kill any of these orbitals. That's probably the one thing that sucks. And Fungal's not going to help here. He doesn't have enough damage to actually do it. Even with the chain Fungal, the Biles might do it. Okay, he actually does kill a couple of ghosts and medevacs with Biles and Zerglings around there. It's a good fight for REYNOR. REYNOR's way ahead on the money, remember. There's only 5 orbitals. No, there was only 5 orbitals. He made 4 more. He has 9 orbitals. The Iron Bank is complete, guys. I'm clicking through them right now. That's a lot of orbitals around this map. That is nasty. Tanks, ghosts, and planetaries going to defend that position. 1 tank goes down. The Ravager count is down to just 4, which I think is a much better count to have. The thing is, right now, he lacks anti-air. The Liberators are going to be getting out of control. The Bio getting jumped on by the Ling Bane, but he picks up the last second. And that's the problem. You finally run past the Gauntlet of Libs, you get on top, and then they just pick up and walk away. Tough to deal with. 7 Corruptors are on the way, make it 9. He's got +1 air attack. He's making +2 as we speak. REYNOR hasn't even mined out his middle base, and that's a problem. Because on this map, that base is quite hard to hang on to. Ling Ultra is going to run in and try to clear out some of this. A tank goes down, but the ghosts do cloak and survive. Infesta does fall back. REYNOR was behind in this game from early on. Clem taking REYNOR's map would be a big part of his victory. Now, he doesn't need to push. There is no need for Clem to push right now. Clem just likes pushing, and he's good at it, so he says, well, I might as well do it. But just in general, if this was just a normal Terran versus Zerg, I'd say, why are you pushing right now? You're going to win the long game, but you don't have as much bank. You don't have as much room for error. You should play carefully to make sure you don't get caught out. Now, he's going to claim control of the center. If you could get a planetary up here, some turrets spread across, that'd be great. But there are infestors behind him right now. A couple ghosts caught out in the open. Corruptors will take out the Liberator. That one does go down. Infestor tries to come up from behind, gets scanned and EMP'd. Ultraling Bane diving on top. Corruptor's going after the Viking Lib. Most of the Ultras are gone. Just 1 and a few Banelings left. The Ghosts are going to clean that up. More Ultras coming from the south after cleaning up some tanks down there. And it looks like a few of those Libs do get taken out on the disengage. Those snipes, the Ultras barely outrunning those bullets from those snipes. Well, not really the bullets. I guess it's they got out of there before the shot was ready, before they could line up the shot. Now, if you could take this top base and mine it, that would be great. He's obviously trying to. Clem knows about it because there's an exclamation mark on his minimap there from the sensor tower. A couple snipes go down, take out a Corruptor. Massling in the north. REYNOR's going to keep him busy, but remember, REYNOR's almost out of bank. Last time they played this was kind of a similar situation. Banelings do roll into that bio. Ling's getting in on top of the rally. Could be massive if he can disrupt Clem here. Catches the Libs on siege. Catches the Ghosts out of position. Ultra Bane tries to get on top. They can't break through. The Ghost pull back very nicely. Lings are clearing SCVs. Depots starting to try to damage the orbitals. The starports, one of the add-ons went down. Pretty big moves here for REYNOR, but he's out of bank. So he's got to get more done. He's got to get it done soon. Income is ahead for REYNOR right now. but it won't be in the long run. Terran still has more resources on their side of the map to mine. Corruptor, Ultralink Bane rolling forward. He's getting rid of a lot of these libs. That's where the value is coming from. It's those libs going down. You almost never kill the ghosts, but he only loses one of the ultras. The other ones do survive, which is pretty nice. Unfortunately, his infestors just keep on getting caught by those scans, and another few corruptors go down. How many has he lost this game? 3 corruptors only? Actually, a really good job in that regard. These lings are all finally getting cleaned up in the north, but there's a lot of floating orbitals. That one's going to burn down. Yeah, he's going to lose an orbital. I think the pace that Rain is setting is awesome, and he saves it. It was down to about 10-5 hit points, something like that. Another infested does, I think, get scanned there and taken out. Corruptor's going after the medevacs, but there's mines, turrets layered back there. Ultras getting sniped on the retreat. Marine drop in the north. Great move there to stop Reynor stealing any of these resources in the top of the map. But if Reynor can keep moving workers there, this is a way of kind of forcing Clem to engage on his terms and come out from his line of defenses. That being said, he needs to keep an Overseer on the top as well, because Clem's doing a great job of replacing the Widow Mines. That's something where when you don't do that, that's a big problem for you. Now, he's got a good Viking. He's made 10 Vikings. This is the Clem special, the heavy Viking remax. It's really bad versus spellcasters, but if it's just pure Corruptor versus Viking, they're really good at actually kiting and doing quite okay. They've got 2/2 upgrades against just +2 air attack. No armor for the Corruptors. See, they've only got +2 air attack, so that's actually really good for those trades. And looking at this, 13,000 resources lost difference. The Ghost pulling back. I mean, Reynor's Reinforced just isn't there anymore. The top base is getting denied. He's not able to get that. He's running out of money, and he simply can't get any good fungals off. That Infestor steers around the north. The Ultras are just chilling there. The Infestor's not close enough by, but he does get out of snipe range in time. Well done. In the top side, we do have a Ghost running past. I think he's got a nuke, does he? Yeah, he's going to start nuking this northern base. Great move. Great move to pull Reynor's attention away. EMP instantly as he scans that Infestor, takes it down. And gosh, Clem's efficiency is off the charts. He's actually going to get a few of the long distance mining drones from that top side, and Reynor can't keep up. He's down 40 army supply. His money is dry. The trading is just way too efficient. Lings and Spores should be able to kill that before it actually takes the base out, and he does. Nuke gets cancelled. Oh, big Widow Mine into the friendly fire of the Ghosts and the Vikings, but whenever you turn to run, the Ultras get sniped down. That's the big problemo. Vikings coming in along with the Bio Ghost. Clem, the Mad Dog, just gunning down the Corruptors with the Vikings, which allows him to go back into Liberators. The Ghosts being a big old nuisance. And of course, these Lings in the north, they want to come in. There's Cloak Ghosts and Widow Mines for days on that side of the map. Dude, I feel like Clem has just played an exceptional game. Of course, he was ahead kind of early on. I mean, very early on. His first 2 Cyclones kind of ruined Reynor's opening. I think Reynor did a pretty good job of keeping the pressure up, trying to use Burrowed Infestors. The only missing piece here would have been, it would have been nice if he did Nidus Worms as well, but I think he played quite well from behind, and Clem was just in a good enough position to keep it going. I think this actually bodes well for Reynor's future chances. I just feel like both players are kind of emotional, and they could get very affected by this not going as well as they wanted. So who knows who's going to tilt? Will Clem tilt from game 1? Looks like the answer is no. Well, Reynor tilted all from game 2. I doubt it, but it is frustrating to lose your map and play from so far behind. It can feel a little bit helpless, so we might see a more all-in Reynor in the following maps if he can't magic his way out of this position, which right now, I mean, he's trying to run around, but losing this is one of his last bastions of economy. This base is half mined out. That base is not looking too flash hot on the mining. He still doesn't have an Overseer in the north, and of course, Clem is getting his own mining. He's stealing those resources. Nice surround on the bottom. Oh, but it doesn't even matter because he loses his Overseers to the Viking Ghost, and then he can't even see them. Cloaked Ghost, that is frustrating to lose to. That is. Reynor does find the mineral line in the north, but even there, Cloaked Ghost is going to take out a fair few Zerglings before it does go down. This is fantastic play for Clem. He's really shown that Equilibrium is a map where you have to make sure your early game is tight. In the late game, it doesn't look that bad for Clem, because he's so good at defending his bases, adding the orbitals, microing the Ghosts, putting Widow Mines everywhere, using a mixture of libs. The Vikings, I'm still not sure if it's a super solid thing all the time, but it definitely worked out well in this game, so I can't be hating on it too hard. Widow Mine lib there, and he's going to try and redrop, no doubt. He's got Widow Mines and libs nearby, and Reynor has to tap out. He just has no units left. He's at 40 army supply against 150. Clem steals the map back. We've got an epic series on our hands. All right. Clem there fighting back, tying up the series 1-1, going into hard lead. A map that does tend to favor Terran. However, I know Reynor and Cyril have both said they don't necessarily mind this map, hard lead. They've found ways to play it. Now, one thing is, for a while there, Reynor was way too predictable with always playing defensive Roach to open on this map. And I think if your opponent knows that, they can dive Hellions in and kill your drones. Reynor got caught by that a few times. They can also be very greedy because, you know, you're just not pushing. Which is why you want to mix in some Roach timings. You want to mix in some early Ravager Ling all-ins. You want to play Ling Bane once in a while on this map. You can't just do the same thing all the time. And recently, Reynor has started mixing it up, and he's become a bit harder to play against as a Terran. Like strategically, you know, what builds do you pick, and how exactly do you go about understanding what you're going to be doing next? Whoa, gets it. I actually think that's the better third base in my opinion. Both are perfectly fine, I think, in the pro gamer's eyes. SCV unable to block that. The Reaper does. Oh, watch out, Droney. Oh, tries to go Evo Chamber. I think that was a misclick. That should have been a Spore Crawler. Is Reynor going to tilt after that last game? Feels kind of helpless playing from behind like that. Reynor needs to have realized, hey, I was way behind. The opening sucked. I still made that game really close. And that's, for me, it's like there's two paths you have. When you play a taxing game like that last one and you lose it in the late game, where you feel like you're just kind of slowly getting worn down and there's not much you can do. First things first, Creep Tumor survives this time. Remember, he got his Creep Tumor sniped last time. This time he defends the Creep Tumor. Yes, he lost a drone, which sucks. But if he can just kind of not get caught out by two Cyclones ruining his day, I think he's fine. Already with Ling Speed, he should be feeling pretty good. Did the Reaper see the third? He did, right? Yes, he did. He's looking for those Creep Tumors, but Reynor's doing a really good job of shielding them. And the Reaper unable to slow that down. One worker mining gas for Reynor, so he's wanting a little bit of a trickle of gas coming in. And he's going to, there we go, he resaturates 330 to 340. Two Hellions are here. Now remember, he was doing run-bys on this map a lot. And I think Clem decides against it this time, realizing, I also can't be too predictable. Starport's going to build its own tech lab. That is bizarre. It looks like a Hellbat timing, but also not. Using any minerals and gas is really awkward when you're doing a timing like this. So is he doing the old Hero Marine build? Because it looks like it. He's going concussive shells, medevac. Yeah. This is the build that Hero Marine knocked Cyril out of Valencia 2022 with. It's a very surprising Hellbat timing. I think a lot of people said it's not a good build. That basically Cyril just got caught with 3 queens on the edge of creep, lost them, and didn't have any like Baneling tech or anything. But in this case, Lair's down, which means we should see second gas and Baneling nest in a moment. Any second now. Second and third gas. Reynor, are you wanting to play Mutalisks, mate? What is this? 4 gas already? I think he wants to play Mutas. So he's trying to do a greedy build into Mutalisks, which means that's the worst thing he could do against this. Wow, this is actually going to work so well. Armory's coming in. We've got 3 barracks building behind it, but 3 barracks, double engineering base, very delayed. He doesn't even have the double eBay yet. The Hellions dive on top. That's what I was talking about with catching the units. The medevac does almost go down. Sorry for catching the initiation. He dove in even before the armory finished, looking to catch him off guard. Hellbats are morphing. The Marauders and the Hellbats doing okay. Good spread on the Queens for Reynor. He's building more Queens and more Lings. He needs to counterattack or try and surround this. But as long as the Hellbats are in a clump, it's really hard to get any of that done. The medevac does go down. Another Queen gets taken down. The concussive shells make it really hard to pull your Queens back here. Notice he's trying to always reposition the Hellbats to make sure they're shooting the Zerglings. Good pullback micro by Reynor, though. Dude, Reynor's Ling micro. The way he didn't just let them clump up, but he kept pulling them back so they weren't all stacking for the Cone of Fire. What? And he's got a Spire building? Dude. Oh, my lord. Reynor defending. He didn't even have that many queens, did he? No, he had 11 queens. Okay, well, like maybe 9. And then he built 3 very quickly. 2 or 3 when he realized what was happening. That's a great hold, though. That's not enough damage. That's nowhere near enough damage. Not killing any drones. Reynor has a 4th started. Reynor's got a Spire. 2/3 of the way done. He's in a great position. That was an incredible hold. All right, we got 6 Hellions moving forwards. Double Evo Chamber and a Bailey Nest do go down. 65 workers for REYNOR. He's building a few more Lings and Queens to make sure he's safe. And I like that idea. I think more Lings for him is a good idea. Clem's economy is not bad, though. First 8 Mutalisks are coming out. Those Mutalisks can surprise and kill a good 10, 12 SCVs. That could be a huge hit. But REYNOR has to immediately start bailing speed. Because the Marine Medevac's a problem. He's only got 8 Queens and 12 Zerglings. His drone count's not that impressive as well. Man, maybe REYNOR should just do nothing but make units here. Because the mutas are going to do damage. That's going to put Clem a little bit behind in that regard. But, oh, he doesn't have Banelings. Oh, God, his Bailey Nest isn't quite finished. It's about to finish, but it's not there. He's got to run his drones. He has to give up his 3rd base, go to his 4th. He's trying to make Banelings in the back line. Queens are going to try and transfuse. He's got to pull back. Mutalisks, where are they? They're still on their way across the map. I think he might have pulled them back in panic. Those should have already been there, I thought. Oh, the Queen's taking big damage. Maybe the Hellbat timing did do enough. I guess I misread this game because I'm a noob commentator. Hellbat's beautiful spreads. They soak up all the Banelings. Drop goes into the main base. Mutas rotating over into the main of Clem. But Clem's doing so much more damage to REYNOR. And you know what? I guess with all those missed injects, all of those Zerglings, even though it didn't look like a great trade for Clem, it was off 3 command centers. So you have to judge it differently to a 2 command center Hellbat rush. Mutalisks, oh, watch out for the Widow Mines, REYNOR. Good Muta Micro from him. But at home, he's lost every Queen, every Zergling. His Bailey Nest will go down, and that is just absolutely massive damage. His Muta's desperately trying to get enough damage to equalize. He's doing a good job of keeping them alive. He's somehow only lost 1, but those 2 Widow Mines are going to ruin his day. Because, of course, he's busy looking at home. The Widow Mines do kill a lot of SCVs, funnily enough. In a more even game, you could argue losing those Mutas for those SCV kills might be worth it. No medevac juice left in this main base. Oh my god, he just has no damage though. The 1-1 Marines cannot be stopped. REYNOR with a very cheeky build order. And at the end of the day, it was indeed just a bit too weak against that surprise 3 commands and a Hellbat timing. On a tear right now, Mr. Clement. Doing pretty good. Awesome to see him mixing in a bit of a gamble like that. The 3cc Hellbat timing is a bit of a weird build order, man. Because it hits kind of slow, but it's so surprising. And it's purely, like I said, if you catch 3 Queens out front of the base, which is exactly what he got, then it can do so very well. Now, REYNOR's gone for a 16 hatchery this game. You can see him going up to 18 supply. And you can see the way they rally the drones, because with this build, it times out perfectly. So you get 16 workers on minerals. Then you take a gas about a minute 7, minute 8. And then this guy pops out just before you get 200 minerals. And you get to build that spawning pool. So that's a really nice build. You then build workers, rally, maybe 1 or 2 onto gas, and then go down to your natural when it finishes as well. Really solid opening. He could go all 3 workers on gas if he's worried about, say, 2 or 3 ranks Reaper. But we'll see how it goes. Sorry if I was a bit critical towards the start of the series towards the players, guys. I don't mean to be. They're both absolute legends of the game. I've cast so much of them playing each other that I'm deep in the strategizing of like how they're going to beat each other, what they need to do, what they don't need to do. You know, I could definitely commentate it a bit more just like sitting back and enjoying the hype. And maybe I'll do that for this game, but and just mix in the other insights here and there. I think I also, if one of the players is doing something sneaky, which they both were last game, but of course Clem's hit first and found the damage. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting issue where I'll try to show the first-person view so we can double-check if it's been scouted or not. I'm pretty sure it wasn't, but definitely showing that is a nice way to mix things up. Drone does get scouted up here as it goes to the 3rd, where the SCV is blocking it. Only 4 Zerglings. Now remember, if you build 6, you can rotate back the weak ones easier, but then you're down 1 drone. So I always say building 4 is just superior, and REYNOR agrees with me. Solar does not. I used to hound Solar about it every day. Oh, I didn't think you'd get the extractor up. If you've got a unit right next to the gas, you block the extractor from going back. Look at that. Oh, the Reaper tries to go for the creep tumor. Does get himself a Zergling, but the drone beats back the SCV. Good pullback. Clem at least doesn't lose the SCV. but he only gets a Zergling and like an Extractor Trick and a Spore Trick, which is what adds the extra minerals there. A couple Cyclones coming out again for Clem, but against Ling Speed, this opening sometimes falls very flat. So it's a similar build to Equilibrium for Clem, but a very different setup for REYNOR, and it's the one that's much easier to deal with it. Creep Tumors getting damaged, but not taken out. They'll regenerate. They've only got 50 life, so you can see they regenerate their total life in like a minute at most. It doesn't take very long. So damaging a Creep Tumor, not really effective unless you're about to immediately afterwards come in and kill it. Second barracks on the way. This does look exactly like the build on Equilibrium. Oh, Reynor's going to lose an Overlord. Always hurts to lose that first Overlord to the Cyclones. And that Overlord up there is trying to get to the left. Can he get his Queens up here in time to defend it? I think he can. I think it won't even get spotted. No transfuses available. Only the Queen that was getting hit. She could heal up these other Queens though. Ooh. Gotta focus the Cyclones, Reynor. You gotta focus those Cyclones, my friend. Oh, I love the way he's using the Reaper Alien to spot. The Link's coming in a little bit late, already losing a few Queens, but Cyclone and Alien surround, not too bad. He's gonna keep chasing, but that Cyclone is so damaged, and it's absolutely worth trying to finish that bad boy off. Units lost tab, you can see very good for Reynor. Even though he loses a few Queens, he can build those back up, he can build his drone count. On the other hand, third command center is finished, and that will float out in the near future. I think if you kill the two Cyclones, it's worth replacing the Overlords if you need them. But I think at this point, you're getting so much creep out here, you can kind of just rely on the creep to scout for you. Now, every single Zergling is going for a counterattack. He's assuming Clem wouldn't be crazy enough to dive in here with his Hellions. Oh my god, of course he would. Clem's a psycho. Lings run in, get us around in the Marines. Clem's over aggression. It's the secret to his success, but it's also what's cost him so many times in the past. Oh, but he's going to pay off this time in the main. Not in his natural, though. No, this is way worse for Clem. This is so good for Reynor. This is so good for Reynor. I mean, it's kind of funny because, like, I thought, oh, Reynor leaving no defense at home is obviously like, well, it would be crazy to push in here. But it still works out because losing 8 drones in mining time, as a Zerg, you can replace that much quicker than a Terran can replace those 20 SCVs. 1-1 starts for Zerg. You're up 15 workers. If you can squeeze a 4th base in, replace these workers, get like a lair and a Baneling Nest in the near future, then you're absolutely roaring. Whereas Clem, he's just trying to rebuild his basic mining on his natural. He hasn't found the minerals and gas to start 1-1, and he's on struggle street. A lot of backstabs was the secret to Reynor's last win against Clem. Saw Shin take out Clem with some good aggression and counterattacks as well at Katowice. It's always been his weakness over the years. He's gotten much better against it, but I think definitely in this current meta against Reynor, he's got to kind of... It's hard to strike the balance, right? He's got to have just a little bit more preparation for those counterattacks. At the same time, you got to realize you can't just sit in your corner of the map and defend. Like, it's Reynor. This guy's known for rushing to 90 workers if you give him any breathing room at all. And if you let him do that, obviously you're going to lose the game. He's going to have too much economy, way too much army, combined with him being one of the best Zergs in the world. Ling Runbay comes in. Does find itself a couple SCVs, not bad. Medevac just bouncing around, not finding any damage. 3 more barracks go down. That's 5 barracks. 47 workers. So 2 bases are saturated. He'll rally to the 3rd now. We'll think about moving down the Marines. He's got 2 siege tanks as well. Reynor taking the rich gas base wants that little boost of the double gas mining. Overlord does get sniped, so at least a few small pickoffs, but the creep is out of control. Oh my gosh. Oh, those speed queens move through that zone so quickly. And he immediately respreads creep on the front line. Banelings, you might think, oh, they're not killing that much. Still gets 4 SCVs and a fresh mule. That's good enough because you're at 70 workers against 50. So even trading a little cost inefficiently is actually amazing for Reynor, because anything he can do to keep trading while expanding his own income upgrades, he's just going to basically say, hey, I'm not giving you the room to catch up in this game. I'm not giving you the room to sit in your corner and build workers for 2 minutes, take a 4th base and catch up. You have to fight me here and now. Queenling Bane on the north. Medivacs do quickly pull back, but oh, the Medivacs didn't pull back quickly enough. The Queens on creep in those speed zones are so fast, man. All right, Marine Medivac coming south. Ling Bane there as well. Marines picking up and pulling back. Infestation Pit's halfway done. 2-2 upgrades are on the way. Extra gas is slowly coming down here for REYNOR. He's already got great gas income, as you can see. The purple gas counting as 2. Hydroden goes down as well. So he's already thinking about a lurker transition. Clem's just only on 59 workers. If Clem were to bring this game back, I would be so impressed, guys. He's actually doing an 8 racks. Oh, normally you'd expect him to try to catch up on the macro. He's going to go 8 racks. He might not even build add-ons and just try to build pure marine tank and just kind of look for some amazing engagements. And he's making 2-2. But look at that. A few marines go down to a baneling. Good defense for Mr. Ray. Oh! Okay, man. Clem's always leaving it to the last second to pick up, but he does it just in time. No workers on REYNOR's 5th base. The marines dropping, picking up. A few of them go down to banelings, but not too many. Marines in the north trying to distract as well. Libs are being built 2 at a time. No add-ons on those last 3 barracks. It's an all-in. REYNOR has not scouted for this. We're on REYNOR's camera right now, guys. You can see he's just trying to control both sides of the map. Honestly, does he need to know? I'm not quite sure. 2-2's already done for him. He's so far ahead. His hive's almost ready. I mean, obviously, having the information that this is an all-in is very important. When he sees no 4th base over here, like, he should realize, hey, wait a second, what's happening in this game? But as we go back to everyone's camera, you can see that REYNOR is characteristically blind. He's just not looking for the setup. And now he's going to see some Marines come. Does he realize that there's tanks behind this as well? He's about to find out. Those tanks layering back for a huge push. 12 Marines building at a time right now. 2-2's not quite done for Terran. First banelings that go in, get themselves a good hit on those Marines. The tanks layering forwards. There's a double drop in the south as well. There's burrowed banelings right in front of them, which is hilarious. Dude, if REYNOR has the APM and the attention to activate that in time, that would be insane. If he manages to do that in the midst of everything else that's happening, I will be so impressed. Big Ling counterattack is going to cut off the reinforcements here. Oh, he's going to go for the tanks, actually. And he's going to get rid of 2 of them. Great trade there. Ling Bane Hydra trying to come in the front. Tanks getting overrun down there as well. Oh, Clem actually just F2'd his Marines in the south pass. Banelings burrowing on the ramp in the midst of this, but a scan goes down. Great move. These Marines did get F2'd there, guys. They could stim in that mineral line and actually do some good damage. Clem still has some decent numbers. REYNOR's getting pushed back. Vipers are on the way. Adrenal Glands has not been made. Neither has +3 carapace. Those Banelings do unburrow from down there. The drone line is in trouble. The rich gas base is going down. Dude, it's actually working. Clem is actually making it happen. REYNOR is just not trading efficiently here, and even though it's only 3 bases, I think REYNOR needed to counterattack. He needs to cut off the reinforcement, kill the economy, but he loses his 4th and his 5th base. Oh, that is very bad and unexpected. I gotta say, the Medivacs do go down, the Hydras take down the Medivacs in the south, which is good. It's not like there's a lot of continuation with this push, obviously. It's like there's 1 siege tank, another tank rallying out. Remember, it's just 1 factory building tanks. So there's not that much ranged firepower with it. He somehow leaves a creep tumor right there. And barely gets it with that tank as it unsieges. Nicely done. It's only a small link counterattack, but luckily he finds not many units at the rally point. Ooh, okay, luckily Clem is watching. And REYNOR says, yeah, let's not mess with that. Lurker Den's on the way. Vipers could be massive. Oh, abduct, I love it. You guys have heard me complain about players parasitic bombing Medivacs when they've got a bunch of Hydras, when they could just abduct and shoot it down instantly. REYNOR making the correct instinctive choice there. Big army now rotating down south. REYNOR's trying to rebuild 3 bases at once. He's down 20 army supply though, and he doesn't have any of that hive tech really paying off just yet. Units lost tab is 2,000 resources in favor of Clem. Clem looking like he might be able to draw this one back from the brink. He was pretty far behind in this game. Oh, double parasitic bomb. Nice. The Lings go for the counter. I really think he needs to maybe give up this base and go for bigger counterattacks. The Banelings just cannot get on top of this army. The tank setup is too good. The Marine micro is too good. There we go. That's what he needs to do, but great positioning for Clem. Once again, behind the mineral line. The medevac doing great. The Lings do try to rotate behind. They will eventually clear that one up. Hydra Bane doing a bit better when they're fighting away from those tanks. We need to see more Parasitic Bombs, more Blinding Clouds, more Abducts. Reynor needs to find efficiency. He needs to play like his life depends on it right now. Otherwise, he is in big trouble. That Parasitic Bomb, very nice. Gets some good damage on the Liberator as well, actually. Drags the Parasitic Bomb to the Liberator. Hydra Bane trying to hang on. I think he's got a lot of, 5 lurkers with range coming in. His bottom base should definitely cancel. Cancel, save somebody. Okay, Reynor gets 225 minerals back. He's expanding back to the north. And remember, there is not that much continuation. An orbital on the 4th for Clem. So Clem is basically saying, I'm still kind of all in here. I've still just got to do what I can. He's going to keep abducting siege tanks and libs. Without the siege tanks and libs, the Marines just cannot get through. And that's why those Vipers are huge. The Marines do snipe one of the Vipers. But, dude, the lurkers are going to hold the line, especially with that Lingbane Hydra Sport. You can see Clem still... He knows that he needs to keep being aggressive. He's got to kind of be desperate. He's going to send a triple drop north while maintaining the southern position. Does get another Overlord there. If he could scan this creep, that'd be great. But remember, he's been like muling. He just doesn't have that many orbitals, only 4. And this creep behind his army is actually a bummer. If he could scan here and get rid of those 2 active tumors, I wouldn't mind this setup for Clem. But as it is, there's lurkers all across that flank. There is Lingbane Hydra lurker up north. Oh my god. The burrowed banelings there. Not quite getting activated. More Parasitic Bombs going down, and they're just gathering energy off this hatchery. Reynor just has to be careful not to kill his own hatch. Ling Hydra in the north. Oh, the surround is actually doesn't have the numbers. I don't think he has the numbers. The transfuses are good. Oh my god, the transfuse! Machine gun transfuses all over those Hydras. And Reynor hanging on. Clem made this really close. I love this. A Hellbat timing in game 3. Game 4, he falls behind, so Clem says, you know what? I'm just going to go for a massive 8 racks push. And he's played it really nicely, you know, really gives me some big Gabe vibes in this series. Looks like some very Hero Marine inspired plays, and it's a good way to mix it up because, you know, Clem does get a bit predictable. He often plays kind of the same follow-ups over and over, and he's more of a, I'm going to perfect this style, and it's like the little tactical maneuvers. That's the difference maker. It's, I'm going to drop here. No, this game I'm going to drop here. I'm going to attack this 2 places. Now I'm going to attack these 2 places. But actually he's changing the strategy a lot, the build orders. It makes it harder for Reynor to play this. Lurkers do come forward. Parasitic Bombs are good. The Marines get a decent trade, though. And you got to be careful of that high ground vision that, of course, Clem has in the north. He's going to run in there with a few Lurkers, Lings, and Hydras as well. Reynor's back up on 86 workers. He's got Adrenal, +3 Carapace, +2 range coming in. Great surround, though, for Clem. Clem's going to clean that up. Can Reynor punish in the south? He can't. He just can't get in there, guys. He can't get in there. Oh, he has to double abduct the tank to the low ground. But the northern army gets cleared up. Good fight there for Clem. And in this case, I'd say Reynor's the one who really doesn't need to push. He's got better tech. Yeah, ghosts are coming out. You do want to kind of get forward where you can. But you don't want to throw your lurkers away. So I like the idea of a bit of a soft contain, but rebuild the lurker count, the upgrades, get some more banelings and hydras in for support. And then if you can bust this northern base with a big army and then go back to kind of denying the 5th from ever getting down while maintaining his own 5-6 base economy, that would be the absolute dream. Double drop in the north is going by. Reynor doesn't have much anti-air up there. He doesn't have much to spot for it as well. So if it sneaks up here, you won't see it until it enters that area. 5th command center is going to go down. Queens. Okay, Queens should buy a lot of time. Nice defense. Oh, these lurkers are on hold fire, guys. The lurkers are on hold fire, but there's a turret building in range. Reynor's going to need to turn it on. Otherwise, the turret's going to... Yeah, he has to just turn these on, guys. I think maybe he's trying to lure the army down, but the turret's there. Yeah, as the turret finishes, he's like, I got to turn them on, man. So he does take out the turret, gets himself a ghost. Nice Parasitic Bomb on the Medivacs. Baneling's pulling back, which is a good move. That siege tank on the low ground goes down. Command Center takes a bit of damage, but I think you got to be a bit careful about chasing up that ramp. That high ground ramp position is still a bit too good. The snipes and the tanks on the high ground can hold you back. But look at this, guys. You might not notice there's 3 lurkers in that speed zone. So walking down this ramp, you're getting hit by spikes from all sides. You really need to try and go elsewhere. And smashing the top at the same time with all the mobile units. Yes, a few of the lurkers got sniped on the south, but the Lingbane Hydra will clear this area. It's a lot of depots, a lot of infrastructure, mining, SCVs, gases, a lot of them going down. The medevacs are there, with some of those units being saved. There's burrowed banelings in the midst of that. There are burrowed banelings on that right side. They don't get a chance to detonate though. Lingbane Hydra comes in again. Good pullbacks by Clem. He's holding on, but just barely. In the south, it looks like he's still trying to snipe these lurkers, but it's just so hard to pick them off. He manages to get one there. 2 burrowed banelings are still nearby. There will never really be an opportunity to, I think, blow up a lot of workers because there's only a few mineral patches left. But maybe find a way to catch some army later on in this game. Ghosts are slowly picking off things here and there. But REYNOR is the one with the money. He's going to start taking the middle bases now. He's got +3 range coming in to round out that upgrade set. He actually doesn't have +3 melee, which I'm a little surprised by. Lurkers kind of getting caught out. Oh my god, he's dodging the spines with the ghosts. Clem dodging the lurker attacks. Oh, very cute micro. Command Center is going to pick up and pull back the siege tank on the high ground, getting some good shots off Marine Marauder. Oh my god, that's a lot of banelings. They're not quite getting on top. Great pullback and spread from Clem, and a good choice to pull back there for REYNOR. He went in. Oh, the triple baneling finally landed. Oh, that was the first time Clem finally chased him down that ramp. It's been sitting there for so long in this game, the different burrowed baneling bombs, and he finally manages to get that one off. Very nicely done. Lings down here in the south as well, dragging some tank fire into that worker line. This is huge. Clem's down 100 supply against 195, and it's just a formality at this point. REYNOR showing with the Ling speed, defending the first few Cyclones, then setting up for the backstab was the way to do it because Clem moved in with all of his Hellions. He saw no Lings to defend. He said, ooh, let's dive in here, but getting all of his Marines surrounded at home, not having his wall off up, it was a disaster. They put him way behind. No planetary in the south means these Lings are running rampant. They are having an absolute orgy in that mineral line, and it's not one that the SCVs are enjoying. Zerglings do take out a siege tank. Clem has to tap out. Beautiful play. We're getting ourselves a game 5. Heck yeah. All right, here we are. It's time for the final countdown. Liquid Clem in the top right side of the map. These aren't tricks, REYNOR. Tricks are what a whore does for money. They're illusions. REYNOR in the bottom left side of the map representing Basilisk. It's been a long time since I watched Arrested Development. Does that show hold up over time? Obviously, I don't care about the extra seasons they do in the future. I'm basically allergic to things being remade that were famous and popular at one point. And they're like, let's do it again 20 years later. And you're like, no, why? Why do you have to poop on the legacy of things? Because it'll make us money. Recognizable brand names. Anyways, I'm sure the original show still holds up. So such a fantastic quotable show. Anyways, we've got a Reaper building, a natural command center, an orbital comes up, Mule will be dropping, very standard opening, SCV scout for safety, and it's a hatch gas pool. So no 15-15 today for REYNOR. He's been going back towards the classic ones, which, I mean, he's one of the best Ling Bane players in the world. The one game where he tried to skip Ling Speed did not go well for him. I think we're going to see some more Ling Speed stuff. Some more straight up Ling Speed play for Mr. REYNOR. Cool third hatchery location. A lot of people take it on the other side. I prefer this third hatchery myself. Reaper's having a bit of a poke around. Good micro so far. Oh, he's going to get at least one. Does get one. Reaper micro is insane. So fast. This is the sort of stuff that I really wish I could live outside of Australia just so I could micro 20% as good as what Clem just did there and REYNOR just did. But it's you know, unless I play on the Australian server, and there's just not, even when our server was a bit more active, it's just not going to be the top tier opposition, you know. A small island with 25 million people on it. Are we 25 million now? Something like that. I don't know. Not that many in the broad scheme of things. Oh, Creep Tumor barely survives. Oh, he almost gets it. He gets it. Of course he does. The focus fire, man. I always try to do that when the Ling's running back past the Queen, and I always misclick on the Queen because she has such a big model. Like, it's really easy to accidentally click on one of her tentacles or something. Because you see she's got these tentacles sticking out. So notice I'm not even hovering over the circle. But if I try to click there, that selects the Queen, even if a Zergling's running under it. But Clem's so good at always clicking the Zergling. A nuisance to play against. Now, it's the same 3cc opening, but instead of going for the 2 Cyclones, he's just going 2 Hellions and then immediately swapping into the 2/1/1. A frigging great opening for Clem. Hellion Reaper bouncing around. Queen does a bit of damage to the Hellions. Third command center almost finished. And this is just going to be a 2/1/1. Straight to Bio. Straight to Widow Mines, I would imagine. And the question is, what style is REYNOR doing? Because I'm expecting a double Evo chamber, but the fact that it's not down yet is making me think we're going to see a lair pop up when this queen pops out. It's getting closer to 5 minutes, and REYNOR hasn't made a decision on what his tech path is. There we go. Yep, lair. All right, we'll see a lair, second gas, Baneling Nest, and I don't know, maybe he'll try that greedy Muta play from hard lead again, but I doubt it. Third command center floating out. Double engineering bay goes down behind the natural. Third gas coming up. Clem, the most minimal commitment to Hellions you could do. And funnily enough, REYNOR, no Ling backstabs this game. And it's probably a good thing, because unless he did a massive one and got a surround on the early Marines, this Marine count is actually quite good at defending. Third command center's down. Single Evo chamber. Single Evo chamber? Hello? I mean, I guess REYNOR hasn't scouted that much this game. He knows it's a 2/1/1, so he's just wanting the quick carapace to counter it. Yeah, okay, it is. He's still going to go double Evo. I was thinking in my head, maybe he kind of wants to go like a hybrid upgrades plus Muta style, but no. He was just getting the fast upgrade to try and counter the very early aggressive Marines. Unfortunately, Clem messed up. He only made +1 armor, didn't make +1 attack, and he hasn't realized yet. That is a problem for Clem. Early stages of game 5, but if he doesn't pick up on that, it'll hurt him big time. Carapace normally finishes after +1 range. In this case, it's going to finish well before it. And the longer Clem goes without realizing, the more costly that is. He did just get an Overlord, though. He's not using any scans to clear creep. 4th base on the south. Usually your 5th base goes down here. So I imagine this right side is where Clem is mostly going to focus his pushes. On the other hand, if you do let the creep freely spread across these rocks and up this left side, it can be encroaching on that base really early. And that opens up not only easy defense for REYNOR on the left side of the map, but also amazing counterattack opportunities. Second factory, 5th gas. Looks like a big macro play for Clem. Not a big surprise on this map. He looks almost strangely cautious. He's actually building tanks, though, not Widow Mines. But he's not sending them across the map. Yeah, he's playing safe. I think he's expecting more shenanigans. So he's saying, well, I'm going to play safer because you keep catching me out with these counterattacks. So let's defend. But REYNOR is actually playing... He's read it really well. He's already at 77 workers. He's going to 83. He's building 6 more. He's already mined open that right side so he can take a 5th base when he's ready. His Ling Bane is split to both sides of the map. Well, Ling Queen on the left, Ling Bane on the right. We need some other units. You can't just have Banelings. Oh my god. That's not good. This is what... Where's the Lings, man? I think he has a bunch of Lings building that are going down there. But that's a little bit awkward. Does have to cancel his 5th base. And some great value coming in for Clement. Queen's in the north. Gonna try and defend with Transfuse. Clem with the focus fire. Notice he quickly changes targets as well. So sometimes if you just keep transfusing the same queen, he suddenly targets a different queen. A lesser player than REYNOR might not be quick enough to change the target of the transfuses that they're casting. +1 attack did get remembered, by the way, so it's not too far behind. He's already started +2 armor. If he remembers +2 attack as soon as +1 finishes, it doesn't really have as big of an impact as I'd hinted at earlier in the cast. But that is a big if, because he's got to try and slow the creep down on both sides, try and deny that 5th. Just Banelings again? Makes it a bit easy for Clem to micro when he's just dealing with that. Can't be redropping right there. That's way too dangerous. Now, something I noticed Cyril and REYNOR talk about on their streams is like Clem will just drop there and come straight back in. So actually following the medevacs is a really good move. +2 attack did get remembered. Clem's on point right now. 3 more barracks coming in. His 4th command center is floating out to the left. REYNOR is on 89 workers, though. Tanks moving forward, deep on creep. Ling Bane rolling forward, but they haven't targeted the siege tanks. And that's going to be costly. That southern tank is not being targeted right now. Both tanks survive on the front, as well as the one in the back. 7 kills, and 9 kill Chathammer in the back. She is absolutely wrecking it from there. But Oh, man, that's like a pretty bad first fight for REYNOR. In fact, a really bad first fight. Oh, God. Oh, God, that first fight was so important for REYNOR to hang on. He does take out 3 Widow Mines. Bit of a mistake for Clem to clump those up that much, but, man, REYNOR is reeling. He doesn't have the numbers. He doesn't have the numbers right now to deal with this. He really cannot fully engage this because he's just not able to clear the tanks. Every time he comes into tank fight, it's very bad for him. I'd like to see Chadhammer move up to this position because he's moving a bit far in front of the tanks. Great Marine Micro, though. Widow Mines as well. And REYNOR, he's taking very bad trades. Look at the units lost tab. 7,000 to 3,000. It's 2-to-1 trading for Clem. Yeah, REYNOR has a good economy. A good economy is not enough because now the double drop goes in the north. There's a few Marines in the south, and the Queen's barely holding the line in the middle. REYNOR looks a little bit panicky. He played a bit greedy this game, and that first fight was so important to stabilize. Now he is playing patiently because those tanks aren't moving forward, which is the right way to do it. The Spore Crawler and the Queens are actually doing pretty well. They take out a medevac. Sumlings run forward. Widow Mines, friendly fire. One of them hits the extractor. One of them friendly fires. Great pickup. Letting a few of those banelings blow up without too many of them going down. Queen's trying to shoot down these medevacs. He does take down 1, 2. Great Queen defense to buy time, but the Queen line has fallen. There's only 5 Queens left. They're out of energy. That is no longer a barrier to this. 4 drones do go down to that drop behind the minerals being so good. Zerglings cannot deal with that. Queens and Lings on the front, cleaning up the front Marines. Banelings forced the pickup, but of course Clem is watching because he's a savage. His 5 Marines in the south killed the 5th base as well. Clem is all over this game right now. He sensed weakness and he has pounced onto the back of REYNOR, and he is sinking his teeth into his fragile neck. REYNOR struggling for breath. How the hell can he get Clem off his back? It's such an awkward position with these tanks and Widow Mines layered forwards. So many Widow Mines! Oh, he just doesn't have the numbers. He's got some Hydras out now. They've got no upgrades. These are unupgraded Hydras. They are an incredibly expensive unit that simply cannot hold the line. And Clem here with some brilliant pushing power. REYNOR's struggling to hang on. He's got Lurk Attack. He's got a Hive. He's got 85 workers. But the unit trading is still at 2-to-1 efficiency. These tanks, 38 kills, 13 kills. It looks like maybe this is Chadhammer that moved to the front line to replace one of the tanks. That is insane. 41 kills. Chadhammer, she only covers to there, but that's enough because the Marines and the Mines keep baiting REYNOR into those angles. So many Hydras going down. This is a big problem. A few Lurkers are up, but they don't have much support. The Marines are taking big hits from the Lurkers. I say big hits, but not really that big. Only 1 Marine's getting hit at a time. The Banelings roll in. They do save 1 Lurker, but every time he spreads back, that's so nice for Clem. Siege Tank does friendly fire a Widow Mine there. Marine Marauder down on that bottom right side. Just coming in and finding the damage. Remember, he's already taken so much. Those Marines are still alive? Clem, get out of here. That's not fair. I'm giving him a yellow card for unreasonable multitasking and attention to detail. Clem's going to be getting fined by the commission. It's the Noob Commission of Australia, guys. We do hold residency over the washed up dead game platform here. Marine Marauder trying to come in. Concussive Shells is on the way. +3 armor's on the way. Still no +3 attack. The Marine Marauder gunning it. And he gets the Lurkers. He just shoves on top, kills the Lurkers. He knows he's got a ball with way too much firepower. And REYNOR does tap out. Accidentally misclicks the pause button as he GG's and leaves the game. That was wild, wild trading. Clem wins 3-2. Oh, man. That was crazy, guys. That was so much fun. Problem. I think all came down to down here. There was that split of the units, which he messed up with the Banelings pretty early on. So this one, he messed up his split. He's got his Queens up here. So this side doesn't need much support, but he's got like so many Lings up there, and then he fixes it, but he's already lost so many Banelings and his 5th base. So that was the first big mistake he made. But then because he's also going, he's taking these mistakes and he's making a high, and then the Queens aren't supported here when they should have been. They still defend okay, but you use a lot of transfuses. Great focus fire again. And then there was one more moment where this drop came in and there was like only Banelings to defend it, and he gets even more Baneling kills, I think. So I think just some not the best splits. He only got 1 Baneling that time, but basically not the best splits. Going Hive, 90 drones, Hydra Den, Infestation, 5 base, and getting the 5th cancelled and stuff. So it wasn't as optimal and perfect as it potentially could have been, right? He's building 5 drones. He's going above 90 workers, right? But then this first fight just was not good enough. Great tank positioning. You could tell REYNOR got kind of caught off guard. It was like, oh, crap, and then jumped on top of it. If REYNOR split half of his army to counterattack instead, cut off the reinforcements, set up to only engage if he had like a proper surround coming from this side and this side as well, then he could have done it. But notice, a lot of Ling Bane is all the way up there. These Banelings are a little bit far behind as well from where those tanks are, because REYNOR's basically saying, oh, let's ambush him while the tanks are setting up. But 2 of the tanks are already sieged, and there's Marines on the reverse of the minerals that can't be got at. So you can see, like, he's actually, his army's too far spread out. So this was the game-losing engagement, in my opinion, even though it was 4 minutes before the end of the game. I think that really is what cost REYNOR, because he chooses to fight. He can't fight. You cannot fight there. He loses too many units, and that's GG, man. He loses so many because he's already pushing the edge of greed. He's actually got a lot of minerals as well stacked up, which is not great. So yeah, and then at this point, notice the units are rallying, and it's like, oh, now you don't even have enough units to cut off the reinforce because you've already expended so many in that first fight. So it becomes a slippery slope where you can have as much of an economy advantage as you want, but it doesn't matter if your army is so small that you can't take good fights. You're so outnumbered that all your units get gunned down before they really turn a fight into any efficiency. The way it works with hand-to-hand units is you need to swamp in with overwhelming numbers, preferably from multiple sides. And the fight starts really bad because they're shooting first, because they're all ranged units, and then it turns even or good for you as you close with them. But because he's got so few units, we're basically just seeing the start of the fight repeatedly, where a bunch of Zerg gets gunned down and then he has to pull back. A bunch of Zerg gets gunned down, he has to pull back, rinse and repeat a few times, and we see that disgusting units lost tab. Really well played by CLEM. Great micro, great decisiveness, and a fantastic series from both players. GG, well played.